Hey everyone, happy Saturday. Today is going to be extremely hot and muggy. No surprise there, but the heat will continue to build over the region over the next week, heading into the 4th of July, which is on Thursday. But for your weekend, overall pretty nice, except for it is going to be so hot and humid. Temperatures will be in the low 90s. Plenty of sunshine, a few clouds. There's still a chance for some scattered showers and storms today in the afternoon. Typical summertime variety, though, they will be hit or miss and not a guarantee for everyone. And then later this evening, our temperatures will stay in the 80s. Probably into the 80s through tomorrow morning, so we don't really cool off that much overnight. Here's our heat index today, or how we'll feel like. Feels like temperatures up to 108 to 110 this afternoon. We have a heat advisory in effect today until 7 o'clock this evening because of these feels like temperatures that are just downright steamy, sultry, uncomfortable when you're outside. And then you know what, tomorrow it's going to be the same deal. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures back in the low 90s, very hot and humid. Scattered showers and storms are possible tomorrow in the afternoon, still the hit or miss type. And then our heat index tomorrow back up to maybe 107, 108. Could be seeing places getting up to 110 for our feels like temperatures today and tomorrow. Tomorrow we have an excessive heat watch in effect, so we've got a two pair of really hot days this weekend. Here is Precision Cast today. I know it's hard for the summertime storms on models to show you exactly where they'll set up, but just to get an idea, scattered showers and storms will be around today. We can see those steady and heavier downpours in a few spots, which can create a little bit of a nuisance if they set up for too long. But overall, if the showers set up today, they won't last that long. It'll be typical summertime variety where they kind of pop up and then they're done within 20 minutes or so. And then tomorrow, pretty similar pattern, scattered showers and storms in the afternoon and early evening tomorrow. Still going to be hot and humid unless you get a cooling shower. That'll be nice. Otherwise, lower 90s for our high temperatures today, tomorrow, and then Monday through Friday. That's when the heat really ramps up, mid to upper 90s, maybe 96 degrees for an afternoon high temperature on Thursday, which is the 4th of July, 96 again on Friday. So we've got increasing heat actually coming our way. And with our rain chances, they actually stay a little bit more elevated this weekend compared to the new work week. So we have a 50% chance of rain and storms today, tomorrow, 40% on Monday, and then it decreases to about 20% chance of rain Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And the reason being, we've got this upper ridge of high pressure that's going to be building in. So our best chance for scattered showers is actually this weekend and into Monday, and then through the work week and through the 4th of July holiday, they will be a little bit lower, but can't rule out still a stray shower or storm, because even though this ridge of high pressure is going to build in, there's still going to be a lot of moisture under it. So we can still see a few showers and storms every single day from now through next Friday. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, this ridge of high pressure is really the dominant weather feature for us along the Gulf South from now through next Friday, keeping us hot and somewhat lowering our rain chances. But really the biggest thing it could help us with, and hopefully it does, it looks like it should, but things can still change, is that it's going to help guide tropical systems basically directly westward towards either Central America or the Yucatan Peninsula by later next week. So it's not set in stone, but so far this ridge of high pressure could help guide these tropical systems, which is really beneficial to us because there is a lot going on in the tropics. So I think a lot of us would rather take heat than a tropical system. So let's get into the tropics and break down what we can expect over the next 7 days. So there are those three areas we're still monitoring in the tropics. We've got Invest 94, not going to be our problem. It is going to move into the southwestern Gulf of Mexico later this weekend and eventually drift into Mexico by Monday. So they'll be seeing quite a bit of rain in the Yucatan and parts of Mexico this weekend in Central America. So we got that one out of the way. And then we've got Tropical Storm Beryl, and then we've got a tropical wave right behind Beryl that's basically going to follow in its footsteps, highlighted in this orange area. So that's another tropical wave. The main development region right here, usually not this busy this early in hurricane season. So it is a little rare and unusual that we're seeing this much activity popping up. Obviously, the record warm sea surface temperatures are helping to fuel these storms, and some weakening wind shear actually is kind of setting up right ahead of Beryl, so it's taking advantage of a more conducive environment. And there is a chance that Beryl could rapidly intensify by the time it gets into the Caribbean. So Beryl is a strengthening storm. This is the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. It's still Tropical Storm Beryl, but it has increased its winds. Now its winds are at 65 miles per hour, sustained gusts at 75 miles per hour. It does have a good structure to it. It has that good outflow, almost that characteristic structure of a tropical storm. So it's taking on that better shape well-defined center, moving west at 23 miles per hour. So it is moving along pretty quickly with a pressure of 998 millibars. So let's walk you through what's going on with Beryl through later this weekend. So if you do have any plans in the Lesser Antilles, the Caribbean islands, this is going to be moving into the Caribbean islands, the Eastern Caribbean, later Sunday through early Monday, possibly as a major hurricane. So not only will it be our first hurricane of the season, it'll be our first major hurricane of the season if this forecast holds up. So it looks like so far the cone for Beryl on Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning, 115 mile per hour winds, Category 3 hurricane when it reaches the Windward Islands, so Barbados, the southern Lesser Antilles, going into Monday. So give your friends and family a call down there. Make sure they know to prepare for this. If you have any plans, if you can cancel them or get a refund, that would be wise. But definitely make sure friends and family are doing okay with this. This is coming for them by late Sunday through Monday. Then it's going to continue to move west-northwest through the Caribbean Sea. The cone, as you get farther out in time, it spreads out because the forecast accuracy is not as great. But there are good signs that it's going to weaken because there's going to be stronger wind shear in the Western Caribbean later in the week. By Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, it looks like it's going to weaken by the time it moves closer to Jamaica. So this forecast can still change up a bit. The cone can still kind of vary, maybe a little bit more to the south or a smidge to the north, just depends on the steering currents. But so far, the good sign is that it is set to weaken by Wednesday and Thursday with stronger wind shear coming into the Western Caribbean. So if you live in the Caribbean islands or if you have any friends or family there, plans, kind of watch this more closely. But we'll have close eyes on this even here along the Gulf Coast to see what it does 1 week from now. But there are tropical watches in effect and hurricane watches in effect for some of the islands, the Windward Islands and the Lesser Antilles because of this. And we'll get one model run with this. So this models kind of differ from run to run, especially something this far out. And it really hasn't developed yet into a hurricane, and it's still in the tropical Atlantic Ocean. So it's going to change up a bit, but getting a kind of a rough idea of what's going on with Beryl with our GFS forecast, one of the global models. So in the near term, we definitely know it's moving into the Lesser Antilles by early Monday. They'll be seeing heavy rain, some surge, rough seas, maybe some flooding, and the strong winds associated with Beryl. Then it's going to continue to move west-northwest, moving by, so it's just kind of clipping Hispaniola and Puerto Rico, so they could see some showers and gusty winds at times, and then getting into later in the week, moving towards Jamaica and possibly parts of Cuba. Again, this is not set in stone, this forecast, and it looks like even the GFS indicating it's going to be weakening by this time because of the increased wind shear. So this is as far as I'll take the forecast because really models diverge quite a bit on where this will go by Friday and Saturday of next week. So once it gets into the Caribbean by Monday, we'll have a pretty good idea of where it's going to go beyond that point. So far, like I was showing you before, that upper ridge of high pressure, if it kind of holds strong, it'll help guide this right into the Yucatan. A lot of models are consistent with it moving into Central America or the Yucatan. So that really is a good sign. Something we'll be watching closely. We'll bring you the latest updates on what you can expect with Beryl. Make sure you definitely pay close attention though, if things can change kind of drastically sometimes. So something to certainly keep in mind, not to stress too hard about though, especially if you live along the Gulf Coast. So far, there's nothing to worry about over the next week, but again, make sure you're checking back in. So we've done Alberto, we've done Beryl, and also right behind Beryl could be Chris. There's that other tropical wave right behind it. So we'll be seeing if that can develop into something as well. So a lot going on in the tropics. Here's your 7-day forecast for the New Orleans area. Temperatures in the low to mid 90s every day, upper 90s by the 4th of July holiday. Rain chances at 50% this weekend. A little bit lower of a rain chance this week, but still keeping a prospect, an opportunity for a few spotty showers and storms all week long. So thanks for tuning in. We'll be back for the WWL Louisiana News this evening.